We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You know I blame it on industry. I blame it on my own hypocrisy. It's education and politicians. No one's willing to step up and speak.
Hello and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. It's March the 17th, 2021, and we are live and coming to you from paceradio.net. I'm Al Graham, and tonight my joint host is Kim Cooper, and she joins me with our guest who has been involved in cannabis for many years. But before we learn more and find out more about all these years and experience and time done and what all they've done over the years, it's always time for Kim and I to have a quick chat, right, Kim?
Absolutely, absolutely. We usually like to cover a news story, and tonight we're covering one that you brought to my attention that I missed from last week, and I don't know how the hell I missed this, but I'm glad you showed me, and holy shit.
Yeah, that's right. What Kim is talking about is the government of Canada released a document. It's a draft guidance on personal production of cannabis for medical purposes. And basically what it is they're looking for people to write in and give their opinions on things.
Yeah, and now this is an open document, so they've never done this before, all right? Like, this is significant because this has not happened before, not with medical cannabis. Medical cannabis is governed by the feds. It's a right under the charter that we were given by the courts. Supreme Court of Canada upheld our right to extract under our right to grow. And that's how we have extracts today, is because of these rights that we have won as patients in court. And now in 2021, in the age of legalization, all of a sudden they're examining our medical system.
That's right.
It's under review, and they want input from places like municipalities.
Yes, exactly. And what have we been hearing from municipalities all fall long?
Municipalities want the right to restrict medical gardens. They want the right to be involved in your medical garden. They want the right to prohibit medical
They have been screaming about loophole, 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 and going on about the numbers that the patients are growing when it comes to cannabis. They say here, as of September 2020, there was 420,000 Canadians who were using cannabis, but as far as medically, but only 10% of those were actually growing it.
So we're actually growing it. Yeah. And their wording in this document that they've got going out basically to everyone everywhere is concerning, to say the least. They talk about the numbers of patients in here that are using medicinal cannabis. Like 420,000 prescribed patients right now in Canada, with the majority of those patients buying their product from an LP. Now, of the patients, they quote numbers in here saying of the patients that are buying from a legal producer at a store, the average prescription is around 2 grams per day, whereas all of the rest of the people that are growing their cannabis, prescription numbers are up in 36 grams per day.
Yeah, the 2 grams per day, that'd be through doctors and stuff like that are signing these documents. And as far as probably some of those clinics that are out there that have been around for quite some time, because I know some of them had limits as 5 grams. They wouldn't even sign for 5 grams. And this was years ago.
Yeah.
So,
but the way they word this, though, they're directing your attention to that. They're saying nefarious acts are happening here. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such large prescriptions. They're putting words in people's mouths through the wording of this and shining that kind of a spotlight. The other thing that they don't acknowledge either is the influx of patients, especially the influx of senior patients that we have had since legalization has taken effect. A lot more prescriptions went flying off the shelves after legalization because a lot of people felt it was more acceptable at that point. So that was something they would consider. So all those patients have low dose prescriptions because they're brand new and they're still figuring all of this out.
Oh, and people most of them aren't growing.
All of us that have 36 grams per day, we've been using this medicine for 20, 30, 40 years. So of course our prescriptions are higher. We're using it in various methods because we are experienced with the plant.
Yeah. Now they also say here that during inspections of personal and designated production sites, Health Canada inspectors have observed activities that do not comply with cannabis regulations, such as unauthorized individuals tending to plants, security obligations not being met, unauthorized outdoor production, and plant counts beyond authorized amounts.
Well, you know what? You can take that whole paragraph and take it out of this document and plop it into any document that they have had catching an LP growing illicit weed.
Well, yes, we know that.
Because the LPs have done all of these things and more. Are we shining a spotlight on them? Are we shutting them down? No, we're giving them a slap on the wrist and then letting them go back into business. So why is this different?
They say that there has been an in recent months. There has been an increase in law enforcement activities at some personal and designated production sites. Police have laid drug and weapon charges against some personal and designated producers who were using their registration to cover and support large-scale illegal production and sale.
Oh, what was the name of that company just recently that was covering a large-scale production and sale and exportation of cannabis? That's right, too. It was a legal producer with a license from Health Canada.
Yeah, and it says right below that, abuse of medical purposes framework undermines the integrity of the system that many patients and healthcare practitioners rely on. And, you're just throwing it back, all the way back on these things that licensed producers have done.
Yeah. Come on. Take your pick of companies.
They say at the beginning of this draft document below is to distribute for comment purposes only. So they want comments on it, just so everybody knows. Just so we can get to our guest. I'm sure she may have an opinion on this. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she will.
But it also, for the first time, it outlines factors that Health Canada may consider in making decisions to refuse or revoke a registration on public health and public safety grounds. And these proposed factors address areas that the minister has jurisdiction and authority over. So now, for the first time after 20 years of this program, now they're going to outlay factors on why they're going to refuse people into it.
And this is all happening in the age of legalization, people. Legalization finally came nationwide, and now the medical program is under attack. I said this, I knew it was coming.
For anybody who wants to write in on this, get a hold of Health Canada on it. I know it's on the Reefer Reporters Facebook page. It's posted there. And because Health Canada
will be on IWK shortly.
Yeah, you have until May the 7th in order to write them. And Health Canada intends to finalize this guidance document and make it publicly available on its website when it's all done. So it's all
the naysaying municipalities are going to chime in.
Oh, big
So
time.
all of the people that have good things to say and want the program to be left alone need to chime in, because it's the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. So if we're not in there like, the rest of them are, then we're going to get bulldozed over.
Yes, yes. Well, you and I, we know a municipality near myself where they were going at trying to ban patients, and we were
Yes.
commenting in their local group about
Yeah.
court cases and everything, and that's
Yeah.
what they were. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
out there.
the writing's
They're
been
trying.
on the wall for this for a while. This is the direction that they've been leaning in. And I've been watching it happen at a snail's pace. Well, this snail just took off like a rabbit. And, that's where they're going.
So, while 20 years ago during court cases, the government didn't react in time, and cannabis became legal for a year and a half because there wasn't a medical program. There had to be a medical program or cannabis would be legal. They didn't want it to be legal, so they had a medical program. Now that we have a legalization, they're
going to try and get rid of it. I knew that.
Just saying they don't have to worry about the court ruling anymore, right?
Well, they kind of do still because of access. We still don't have the needed access because of the regulations on limits, on the regulations on dosing, and all of that fits criteria for medical. So
there's so many patients and people who still need to deal through that kind of provider in order to do things properly. There's no doubt about that. So there's not everybody can grow.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we bring our guest in? So why don't we welcome at this time? We'd like to welcome our guest and our friend and longtime cannabis advocate, Naomi Poley, to the Pace Radio Show. Good evening, Naomi. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. Sitting here listening to you guys, I had a lot to say. I knew this was coming. The minute you can buy something over the counter, like aspirin, we can't grow our own willow trees, mind you, but that was the objective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I agree.
You don't need to be a rocket science to figure that one out.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think we will still have the right to grow. And I'm very glad to be in a cooperative. I think that's the way we're going to have to go for it, people.
Yeah.
Get a bunch of people, set your grow up, all of you work together on it.
Where was that, Kim, today?
All the work
Today, Kim, we were doing some practicing for some stuff we're doing here on the network, and I don't know, it was Mexico. Yeah,
Mexico.
Was it 4 plants per person, and you could
6,
have up to.
It's 6 plants per person in Mexico. It's
50,
6 plants per person, and then you're allowed to have
10 people.
10 people or something like that for
up to 50 plants. Yeah, up to 50 plants or something in a co-op situation. Yeah, and this is the type of thing.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Or have some kind of buyers club, right? Where you can buy, like, to buy an ounce becomes prohibitive, but to buy a pound is reasonable. Do you understand? But you have to have a whole bunch of people to get that ounce down to a reasonable price.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and they're allowing for like stuff like community gardens, so a bunch of people can grow together. So if you don't have a space to grow, you can find a space. Everybody goes to that space, and you all grow your plants together, sort of a thing. So you can have a community garden with cannabis in it. I mean, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm kind of chuckling because Kim Stockings, she belongs to the community garden that's across the street from her. I wonder if she should put her plants in there.
Yeah, put my 4 in there. This is my 4 plants. My four legal plants are coming in my between my tomatoes here.
Everybody knows you have to plant more than you're allowed because you're going to lose some, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to use that logic too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I grow outside, but I don't smoke it. Think of where I live. Like, that stuff has got to be cooked.
Yeah. Downtown Toronto smog is
Yeah.
it's
Well, see,
lovely.
we're down by the lake, so it's like a lot cleaner than the rest of the area. But
Yeah.
we still have. I have a streetcar that turns right around the corner from me.
Right.
So try to keep my house dust free it's impossible. Like one of those robot vacuum cleaners, it would cough and roll over and die. And then Lucy would pound on it, rip it to shreds.
Yeah, I know. My mom's house was very much the same when I was growing up in Toronto, and that, it's a never-ending job. You can't keep up. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. But Naomi, you've been around the cannabis community forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Last time I was down at your place, we talked a lot about the Kindred Cafe, and you've got a lot of Kindred's signage, wall paraphernalia, artwork. A lot of the stuff from the cafe is in your living room.
Yes.
Nice.
It was my, when people get off work, they go stop at a bar before they go home?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kindred was my bar.
Yeah.
And they had, they served food there, too, and they had amazing coffee.
Oh, I love their hot chocolates. I love
they had amazing hot chocolates. When I got off work, I worked at Bayview and Steeles for 20 years, okay?
Yeah.
So when I got off work, I quite often would come down and pick Jim the baker up with the products that went into those milkshakes and take them down and deliver them to Kindred, and then go up and smoke until about 9 o'clock, and then head home when traffic settled,
Yes.
What you do when you're a drinker, but you did it at a pot place, right?
Yeah. When you go drink, that's what you do.
Yeah, it had it had rooms where you could go in, you could do video games and stuff in there, or you had the open patio upstairs or on the deck.
That's where we spent all our time, Al, because we couldn't smoke joints inside.
Right.
So we were upside, and I was up there during a tornado, honest to God, hit Sherburne Street. And we were up there with a guy from Kansas City, and he's saying, that sky looks like tornado weather. Oh, it's just really windy, as we're hanging on to the tent.
You're trying to smoke a joint.
Smoking our joint. God damn, I can't light my joint. Billy Palmer was with us through that one, too. So my first lounge was actually my first introduction into Toronto pot was with G13.
G13.
Oh, okay, yes,
yeah. You remember Peter and Susie Starsky.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And the two boys, Moose and Charouse. And they had a cigar shop upstairs and a head shop downstairs and like a little place to sit under their back stairs. And it started our own little community. Peter ended up taking over the upstairs and started like a dispensary.
Yeah.
But under I heard about this cannabis church, and I went to one of their services. It used to be at Main and Gerrard, is where they started.
Yeah.
Was a guy wearing shorts in the middle of January.
Middle of January.
So I introduced them to Peter Starsky, and that's where they got the idea to make the church. Okay, well, the church was already formed, but they joined the church. And the church things kind of started. And I got booted out of the church, but that's another story.
That's another story. Oh, Naomi.
That's not the first church I was booted out of.
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you, when I was a teenager,
The G13
was,
and then the Kindred Cafe. When I was there last, that's why I started doing the hashtag when I was at your house. I'm at the Kindred Cafe because it felt like you're almost right back there because there was so much stuff from Kindred. It's like, look, Kindred part deux, you know.
well, I kind of like have like an informal lounge, anyways.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
my door is open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I love it. I love having people. I've got an electric nail. I've got bongs. Anything you want to. So I've got a volcano, for God's sakes. I don't use it, but it's there if you want it. So, like, I really have everything for a lounge, don't I?
Yeah.
You've got a big L-shaped couch, and some chairs all over, and a dining room table, and a dab station, and freaking rolling papers for days, and you got your right, and you got your back patio, which is awesome.
Yep, I've was out there a couple of times. What's it like up there? We've had a beautiful day today. I was out in just a sweater and a vest walked along the beach.
Really?
Nice.
I went,
yeah.
Nice.
No, we haven't got it that good. It was nicer today, but not that nice.
Crocuses growing, okay?
We
don't have grass yet.
I've had a mic. I've been on a computer all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wednesdays. Yeah, Wednesdays show days, eh?
It's a work day.
I had a measly government check that I had to take down to the bank, so I took that down. I had a bit of shopping to do, and it's at Lee Avenue.
Oh yeah.
I thought it's too nice to get back on TTC or get an Uber. I'm just going to walk. But I get bored of walking along Queen Street, so I thought, well, let's go down to the lake. And then I didn't realize how effing far it is to get to my place.
I lived at Kew Gardens at Lee and Queen.
Yeah. Well, that's where my bank
that building there, Kew Gardens.
Yeah, there was a fire there, right next to the there's a library and then the bookstore, Cole's bookstore.
Yeah.
There's a apartment building in between the two.
Yeah.
They had a fire in there the other night.
Oh.
Wow.
I didn't even look today. It didn't even cross my mind because I was so intent getting down to the lake. I didn't see anything. Just on the way back, I saw a tree that looked like it had two vaginas.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Only in Toronto.
I posted it.
Only in Toronto, the sights you see.
We got the...
Oh, yeah. There's a player piano at the corner of Kingston Road and Queen. All decorated up. You can sit down and play.
I think I've seen a picture of that online.
Yeah, it's part of the Illuminati series that's going on.
Oh, okay.
And they had one I saw today. It was called Sugar Mountain. It was a cake display. It was the old-fashioned cake displays you used to have in bakeries.
Yeah.
Where you had the glass front and the cakes all lined up. Well, it was that. And the outside was pink.
Cute.
Oh, yeah. Somebody was very creative.
Somebody's creative, that's for sure.
Probably got paid a lot of money to do that.
Probably. Yeah. Speaking of creativity, cannabis community over the years has been extremely creative with getting different venues up and going. Of course, Abby Roach has had the Hot Box Cafe, which was one of the first lounge that we had in the city. And then,
that was nice sunny day.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about Kindred and G13 was around. Remember Mellow? Was it Mellow? Mellow yet? No. What was the melted toast one?
Get Melted.
Getting melted. That's it. Getting
Yeah.
melted.
Oh,
was-
yes.
Remember
Yes.
that
where
one?
you,
Yeah,
you
it had a
had the
heart.
patio outside and the room upstairs, and you could get grilled cheese sandwiches. Yeah.
Grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lounge with grilled cheese sandwiches. Only in
Yeah.
the cannabis community, you can base a business on grilled cheese
Yeah.
sandwiches.
Did you know there was also one on Parliament Street once upon a time?
On Parliament. Oh, the only one
Yeah.
I know that's
Parliament,
on
yes.
that end of the city was Planet Paradise, of course. But that's right. Years ago, that's right.
Yeah.
There was one on Parliament. What the hell was that
Upstairs, and
called,
she used to
Naomi?
have an all ages party. I can't remember what she called it.
It
But
was on the
Cassie had
second
it.
floor. It was on the second
That's
floor.
right. I
Yeah,
had forgotten
and
about that one.
oh,
It has
jeez.
some great art in it.
I need to find issue 34 of Treating Yourself
You
magazine.
need to find that issue because you got them all in there.
I got them all.
Okay, 'cause
I do.
they had a great back, like the roof of the building was their patio. So it was
Yeah,
freaking awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I introduced a lot of people to that place. And there
Yeah,
was a Bape on the Lake, of course. Don't
Bape
forget
on the
Bape
Lake,
on the
of course.
Lake.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just had Shane's birthday just the other day. So
yeah.
on Pie Day.
That was like started by Marco.
Yeah.
Vape
yeah.
on the Lake, correct. Yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
We're
Marco's.
talking about Marco today. How
Really?
is Marco? Anybody know how Marco's doing?
Yeah,
Marco
he's,
Renda?
yeah, he's down in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's
Because
down
he's
there.
been robbed a few times, right?
He's been what?
So he's been
Yeah.
robbed a couple of times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's no longer living in Tulum. He's more near Cancun area now.
Yeah.
Got away from that area.
Yeah.
You have to be careful where you decide to settle.
Yeah, for sure.
So, it's like any
Yeah.
other place, right? When I moved to Toronto, I didn't know the areas at all, and I took a job up at Jane and Finch, a
Yeah,
midnight job.
yeah. Well, when you don't know, you don't know what you don't know,
Yeah.
right? And you find out in
Right.
a hurry.
Well, I also had another midnight job at the right at those fancy apartment buildings at the bottom of Jarvis,
Yeah,
right across from the market. Well, this very wealthy farmer, his daughter had twins, and they needed a night nurse. So
Okay.
I didn't know anything about TGC. I walked down
There
at
you go.
11 o'clock at night, right next to, right down through all that area that is
Jarvis and Queen.
yes, all the where all those houses with those strange people.
Yes, Jarvis and Queen.
Totally oblivious, Uh-huh. You were with Butterfly, right? And Marie, was Marie Tripp with you? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Scions. That's right. That's right.
Yes, and they had great French fries.
Yes. So yeah, the Zion Lounge, Parliament Street.
Yeah.
I think they had a big, also a big mural on the wall on the inside.
Yes, they did. It was beautiful,
They had
beautiful.
and they had a great view out one of the windows that overlooked the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
CN Tower or something. Yeah.
They had all these great big windows at the front. Yeah. It was Cassie screwed that up.
Now here's another place. There was Village Vapor. I'm just going through this.
That one. I don't know that one.
Is that the one in Youngsterdam?
I think so. It was on the second floor. There was a
so that's what became Youngsterdam's.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't.
It became Youngsterdam.
Okay, yeah, because it's not.
So they've got a beautiful mural in that one too.
It was it was up on the second floor. There's a dispensary
and it has,
in
like,
there.
The middle is like open. It's like outside.
They also
but
serve
you feel
food.
like you're inside, but you're outside.
They were on Wellesley Street.
On Wellesley?
66 Wellesley Street East is where they were located. I have the address.
Maybe they moved when they became Youngsterdam, because then because they're not on.
I don't remember that one at all.
No, I don't remember that one at all.
Maybe it didn't last very long, did it? Because I wasn't there.
If Naomi doesn't know about it, damn it, it didn't make it. It didn't rate. All right.
There was Vapor Social as well. That was out then. Yeah. And as well as the well-known Hot Box, the Underground Comedy Club, Joanne.
Yeah.
I want to get into Underground.
Okay, go ahead.
We should probably go to break first, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, see, well, time flew by.
Good thing somebody's looking.
That's right. All right. Well, why don't we do that? We'll just go for a break. It's time for that commercial break. And for our listeners, it's time for them to hear from our sponsors, as well as a contest. That's right. We can't touch on that contest where you have an opportunity to win nutrients, sample bottles of a line of nutrients from Calyx nutrient for plants, for cannabis plants. You can win a sample pack. Yeah, Calyx. There we go. I see. I always mess it up. It's one of those ones see how, like, Naomi, I had to make sure I got your last name right. I just didn't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
It happens. So, all right. So
everybody knows me by Naomi anyway. So
that's right. Exactly.
Ganja Grandma.
There you go. All right. Well, time to go. This is the Pace Radio Show. We are live here on paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. Their values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Once again, People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Check them out.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done with a twice-weekly broadcast of the Reefer Reporters and by providing cannabis advocates a place to be heard through Cannabis and Coffee to Marijuana and the award-winning Pace Radio Show. Catch it all here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Hey growers and grow shops, do you want a 20% increase in yield from your cannabis grow? Then you need Calexa nutrients for bigger, better buds. Grow Micro Bloom is a 3-part premium-based nutrient trio specifically formulated to give you bigger, better buds. Win your own sample kit by heading to CalexaNutrients.com and contact us with your name, email, and catchphrase. We will pick one random name on the Pace Radio Facebook page. So remember, check out Calexa Essential Nutrients for bigger, better buds at CalexaNutrients.com.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Hello and welcome back. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net. And if you missed our live shows, you can always catch the podcast afterwards at paceradioshow.com. That'll take you right to directly to the website for this show, and you'll catch it right there in the archives. Today in the program, I'm joined by our guest, cannabis advocate Naomi Poley, plus my joint host, Northern Ontario, Kim Cooper. Well, ladies, I know we were just getting hot and heavy into some lounge talk there before the break, and I think that's going to continue.
It is. There are so many amazing lounges in Toronto and in and around Toronto area. I mean, it expanded beyond downtown Toronto immensely. Like, it was all over the place in all of the suburbs, right out to Hamilton, Niagara Falls.
I had a brochure. I had a Pace brochure that I handed out. The one page of the brochure was the lounges, and there was up to 20 lounges in there at one time. Paper lounges.
Yeah,
across the province.
Thriving community, man.
You know how many we got? You know how many we got left now?
None. Yeah.
One. We have one.
Don't blame it on legalization. It was the smoking thing that took them out.
The Smoke Free Act is what did it. Yeah. And
and
was enacted because of legalization, though. I mean, they only incorporated cannabis into that and vaping into that because legalization was on the horizon. So it is effectively because of legalization.
I was in the house when they made the vote. We wanted to spit on them. We had to ride in the elevator with some of those idiots and we told them that they did not represent the people like they're supposed to.
No, they didn't.
So they were given a piece of our minds.
That's good. You can always count on Naomi for that, along with touring all of the lounges. When we were going to break, we were about to talk about one of course, our favorite spots to go to. I think for everybody in the cannabis community feels the same way. That's Puff Mama's and the Underground Cafe, the comedy club. What a fantastic spot.
Yes. I was there when we covered the leaf. I helped paint over the leaf. It was a very, very sad night. But we did it with a lot of joy. and a lot of laughter and a lot of weed.
A lot of weed. Yeah, that giant leaf was representative of that club for a very long time. I don't think anybody in the cannabis community never went there. Like, everybody has been there. Everybody.
So, yeah, Joe Rogan has it on his show, one of his podcasts.
Yeah.
So I was there when he was there.
Yeah.
I think you can probably hear me laugh on the little skit that he puts up with the Sheik.
Yeah. You mentioned Joe Rogan, huge star, of course, that everybody knows, the name Joe Rogan. But, there was a lot of comedians that are now out there that people will probably know their names that got their start at that club.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan Belleville, he is on Working Moms, and he writes for other shows. Tim Steeves, who was a regular, he wrote for, who's the guy that from Newfoundland who used to do the show, and then he'd walk.
Jesus, I'm terrible at names, Naomi. Don't ask me.
Rick Mercer. He wrote for Rick Mercer's report. Okay.
Yeah.
And he'd come down to have a drink. Yeah. Well, he'd come down to have a drink, and then they'd ask him to do a set, and he'd go up and he'd do it straight off the cuff. It was usually some story that was in the news or something. Boyd Banks would go up with a newspaper and work on a story from the newspaper. Like some of the shows that I saw there should have been recorded. Like, they were just superb. Like, I'm surprised that I didn't have to wear Pampers every night I went. You know that I have a sweatsuito, eh? You know what a sweatsuito is?
I have no idea what that is, and I'm afraid to ask.
It's a tuxedo in Velcro, but it's like a loungewear.
Yeah.
I've got it green, and it's embossed with pot leaves along the sleeves, along the legs. It's got my name backwards, which is Imone.
Imone.
So you've got a tearaway suit.
Yeah.
Well, not quite. Anyway,
sounds like it.
It was a gift from Jeff Paul, because I went to his show every Wednesday, and I only missed because I was hit by a Wonder Bread truck.
Oh yeah, I remember that, the Wonder Bread truck. Oh, that was God, the Wonder Bread truck. Only you, Naomi. Had to be Wonder Bread, right?
I know. They don't pay that well, though.
Oh my Lord. And of course, the creator of that amazing club, Joanne, Puff Mama.
You've got to come for 420, okay? She is doing a show at, the park behind my place?
Yeah.
Woodbine. It's just down the street.
Yep.
There's a big bandstand there, and she's doing
Is that where we went for the comedy
show.
Night?
Yes, and she's doing it for 420. Okay?
Yeah.
Nice.
She's lining people up. I think people should come and vend if they want. There's no regulations, just as long as we're far enough apart. And that park is big enough to handle a lot of people.
It most certainly is. We had a great time there when we were there last year. Of course, all of the events were canceled, but we already had my Airbnb, my usual spot that I go to every single year. And I love my spot in Parkdale, and we came anyway, and we did the Karma Cup anyway, even though there was no event. And I toured the city, and I visited everybody that I could, and we did a few events that were happening, a few things, and Puff Mama was one of those events. Of course, she put on comedy in the park. So you bring a lawn chair or a blanket, and you sit down on the lawn, and you could do the social distancing and watch a comedy show. And we had such a great time.
Yeah, it's fun. And there's usually the Sofa King
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Ashley Kalia, wonderful lady. Her and her hubby making all of those wonderful treats. Yeah, I stocked up big time to bring stuff home.
My Puff Mama is she made Irish dinners today, so I hope she did well. I just smoke it. I don't wear it.
I saw her cookies.
The green. Yes.
I saw her cookies. They looked really yummy.
Oh, they were so good. I've got to get her to make me more because they reminded me of my mother's, and they were gluten-free. It's because my mom used, she used icing sugar.
Yeah.
And butter, of course, and the flour was very, very fine, right? You have to use a really fine flour.
Yeah.
So she used the gluten-free flour that we recommended, and they turned out beautifully.
Yeah.
Because the difference is my mother used to put butter icing and then a cherry in the top.
Yeah.
For Christmas.
I see, I'm on Joanne's wall, and I see that there's some cake raffle going on. And it's,
cool.
Chocolate sponge, vanilla, Swiss, margarine, buttercream with smashed Bailey's chocolates inside.
Yeah.
She's quite the baker, eh?
Yeah, Lita Toy is the one who baked it. Lita has a business. She can infuse cakes, or she makes beautiful. Oh my God, she's so adventurous with food. She's really good. Joey does like the cookies and stuff like that. But if you want something exotic, you want something, Lita. Lita's beautiful. And like the presentation, right? She's been working at a lot of bakeries and stuff like that, so she's got a lot of experience. And so, and she's supporting Joey, and we all try to support each other down here, right? So
absolutely. Got to stick together, man. You got to stick together, especially right now with everything closed down. I mean, we're all feeling that.
Like if you walk, it's not so bad right now because they're gradually opening a little bit. But I'm kind of upset. Like, why do these anti-maskers have their rally in Toronto at Dundas Square? Why not go to friggin' Mississauga, where they've got this great big open place that tons of people can gather and party, do whatever they want? Because we're going to be in lockdown after Saturday again. Because they're having an international Freedom Day.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Like I've been thinking of just going down just to see a party.
Is that what a crowd of people looks like?
What's this? Oh, look, it's people.
Kim and I are in communities that don't have numbers, and it's,
tiny communities. We don't see crowds. There is no crowds. There's no more crowds. I haven't seen a crowd in a year.
That's what I grew up with, right? My family was a crowd. I was the youngest of 7.
I haven't seen a crowd in a
at
year.
The dinner table every night. And we usually fed half the neighborhood kids. So, so I'm used to not many people. So I went from the Gaspé Coast. You guys know where that is?
Yeah.
On the East Coast?
Yeah. Gaspé Coast.
It's in Quebec. But my dad was in charge of the woods work. So like we used to fish in these lakes that you wouldn't believe. Like the fish were trying to bite your fingers.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how they were stocked for the wealthy people, for the upper class.
Yeah.
You know, that 2%. They also, the people, the Kimberley diamond mines and all that stuff. It was all owned by this big family, very, very rich family. They had a beautiful cottage on the river, the Grand Cascapedia River, that produces the largest Atlantic salmon. And guess what the Quebec government did? And I'm so thankful for the separatist government that came into Quebec. They confiscated all of that from the Americans. They took it.
Yeah.
Just took it.
Just took it.
It was so good. Just took it. Now it's open to be rented, okay? But it's going to cost you $1,000 a day to fish salmon on that river. And, of course, all my friends went out fishing that night with a flashlight.
The good old days.
Good old days.
Yeah, good old days.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, I go from that, like, my tiny little community.
Yeah.
I had the river behind me, a tidal river, and a farm, a sheep farm in front of me, and then the ocean.
Nice.
Like a tide, right? So we had sandbars to play on. We'd jump off the bridge at high tide, all that stuff. Yeah. It was a great, great childhood, I must say. Great childhood. There was some trauma.
So you originally came from there, and then you moved to Ontario, then?
Yeah, I moved. Yeah. I went to Montreal and did my nurses training.
Oh, okay, right.
And my fellow nurses had all experienced this stuff called weed, marijuana. It was called cannabis in those days. It was weed. And I was curious, but I had been subjected to reefer madness, right? It's bad stuff. So I said, well, I'm going to find out what this is all about. So we went to Europe, and I went to Morocco and got some weed and smoked it and got nothing out of it because I smoked Gitan cigarettes, which got you far higher than cannabis.
Yeah.
And so they gave me a joint to smoke of my own, and then we ate some tagine or something like that, like a vegetable stew was beautiful. I loved it. But then we got on this bus and drove through these narrow streets, and I greened out.
I was just wondering, well, this isn't going to end well.
Delayed reaction.
I had to open my window, and I barked on all these people looking up at the bus. The bus drove, like the people parred it, and the bus goes through, right? It's not like here where you're on a sidewalk. People just like they're walking and they just, and it's so crowded and they're right up next to the bus looking up and you're like, what? And I thought, well, this might have been the first hot meal they've had in a long time.
I hope you didn't hit anybody.
That was your first experience with cannabis.
That was my first experience. You got it.
Oh.
And then you enter Toronto and you find the cannabis community.
Well, that came much, much later. I went back to Montreal. Went from there to Sudbury, from Sudbury to Windsor.
So you were a northerner first?
Yeah, I was in Sudbury for 5 years. My sisters are up there. I've got a nephew still up there.
Right
and from there to Windsor, from Windsor to Halifax, Dartmouth to Oxford, and then back to Toronto when my marriage fell apart. So, and in all that time, everybody knew, well, I smoked weed, but it wasn't like a daily thing. It was like was after I had alcohol poisoning. No, it was long before that. I discovered that I felt better after a night of smoking weed than I did of a night of drinking.
Right.
So, and I told my girls that I prefer them to smoke weed than to drink alcohol, because I never once had a one-night stand smoking weed.
Ain't that the truth?
And I've entertained.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Yeah. Waking up going, oh, God. Yeah.
What the fuck have I done?
Yes. It was the time back then, wasn't it? It was the time. It was a different time, that's for sure. And, lots of changes since all of that took place, and then you became embedded in the cannabis
Oh,
community
God, yes.
once that door opened.
Well, what happened was when I moved up here, I always enjoyed cannabis, okay? But when I moved up here, I was had come from being quite sick from working in a hospital that was toxic.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go back to work in a hospital because my brain would just go crappy. My body would break down on me. So I started doing nursing and home care, right? Working for an agency, and I was looking after this little girl, and we had a very special bond, this little kid and I. And they had, do you remember when they closed Yonge Street? And they had all the stages.
The Yonge Street Mall. The Yonge Street Mall. They did it every summer. Yonge Street, they had planters and benches in the middle of the road, and there was no cars.
And I think this was one of the first years they did it, and they had a really big rapper from Toronto performing, and nobody knew that he was there. And this little girl and I were there. We were dancing away to this guy. Like, she had an oxygen tank and the whole business. And I look up, and there's another girl from my agency that I met through going to a meeting for some class or something. So she lived right around the corner, so I got to know her. And then she introduced me to this other guy. She was a drinker, but her friend who had lost his son just recently, he was a weed smoker. So we used to get together on weekends and smoke weed, but we'd also drink. But I found I could not do both.
Right.
So I gave up the drink.
That was a good choice.
But I also found out that during the weekend, I didn't need my pain pills. I stopped taking my pain pills. I stopped taking my blood pressure pills. I stopped taking all the supplements you need when you take blood pressure pills and diuretics and all this other stuff to manage your body. I discovered that cannabis keeps my blood pressure within normal range. Cannabis controls my pain. It does not eliminate it by any means, but it makes it bearable so that I don't have to use anything else.
Yeah.
And I pre-roll because when I need it, I need it.
Right.
I don't have time to sit there. Mind you, the rolling process is a very meditative.
It's therapeutic, isn't it?
Yes. It's because you get very introspective when you're rolling, because it's, I'm rolling like 20 joints at a time, right?
Yeah. Never mind trying to do it in crappy weather. Trying to do it outside when it's windy or
be
rainy.
Prepared.
Yeah.
It's always so nice to have them pre-rolled, and from what I recall, sometimes yours has got a little sugar on the outside with some kick.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I kind of started that thing, didn't I? That's the Scot in me, okay? You can't waste anything. You have to use all that dabber excess, cover the joint.
That's it. Roll it up in there.
How are you going to transport that sticky joint? You have to put powder on it. You have to put flour on it.
Yeah. There you go.
That all started at Vapor Central, actually.
It did, eh?
Yeah, I used to have, I had the most beautiful dab rig. It was pink and white, and it looked like a bird. I still have it here, but I used to keep it at Vapor Central, and I used to dab really heavy. But I found that I couldn't. I turned my head, and the room didn't move, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I stopped dabbing, but I realized that might have been my hemoglobin in my boots. I was having these episodes that I would, I'd walk from VC to the subway, and I'd start burping, and then I'd get a pain in my jaw, okay, and I get really tired. So I went to my doctor saying, I think I've got a problem with my heart. So she sent me for a blood test, and I got a call from the lab telling me if I had this symptom and this symptom and this symptom to get to the hospital immediately. Well, I've been having those symptoms for months.
Yeah. So we've been all right so far.
Yeah. So I get to the hospital, and my hemoglobin was so low, they gave me 2 units of blood, and it still didn't bring it up. But now I'm managing, and I've got iron substitute and yada, yada. Yeah. But one thing, the greatest thing that happened from that was the doctor who admitted me was my cousin.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Small bloody world.
Yep. And I asked them if I could vaporize, and they had me take the vaporizer. I had a vaporizer. And I used that, and they said, oh, that's no problem, you can use that. So I was in for over the weekend, and I had a friend, Eddie, excuse me, come down from Vapor Central with his rig, and we did dabs in my room. The woman in the next bed was having horrible diarrhea. Oh my God, stench in my room. So the woman had called the nurse, and she came in, and we had just finished dabbing, and she stopped. She says, "What's that smell?" I said, "Oh, I just medicate it." And she says, "Oh, well, thank you." And I said, "This smell is probably better. The smell of this shit's probably better than that."
This shit's better than that shit.
But when I went in with my Wonder Bread incident, they sent a geriatric addiction specialist in to see me twice. Yeah.
Really?
My daughter almost beat the shit out of them. Yeah. I complained. I registered a complaint about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. We're going to get into that, and we're going to talk about your journey with meeting a geriatric addiction specialist. But I think that's a story that might take a few minutes, and I'm going to bring it to Al's attention again that we are back to break time.
That's right, it is break time. Wow. I noticed that. Yeah, exactly. Oh wow, yeah, time flies, doesn't it?
I got lots of stories, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't even gotten into the marches and the rallies and stuff of that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you remember the couches?
Well, hang on. We'll just hang on. We'll just keep that for afterwards. Write it down, okay? Write it down. All right, time for us to take a break. And for listeners, as I've said before, they're going to hear from our sponsors and all that. Kim and I will continue our conversation with Naomi Poley after the break. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Once again, People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Check them out.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Hey growers and grow shops, do you want a 20% increase in yield from your cannabis grow? Then you need Collection Nutrients for bigger, better buds. Grow Micro Bloom is a 3-part premium-based nutrient trio specifically formulated to give you bigger, better buds. Win your own sample kit by heading to collectionnutrients.com and contact us with your name, email, and catchphrase. We will pick one random name on the Pace Radio Facebook page. So remember, check out Collexa Essential Nutrients for bigger, better buds at collectionnutrients.com.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Hey, welcome back and thanks for tuning in to the Pace Radio Show. We are being broadcasted live here at paceradio.net as well as at paceradioshow.com. Tonight in the program we're joined by our guest, longtime cannabis advocate and friend Naomi Poley, as well as my joint host, Northern Ontario, Kim Cooper. All right, the conversation never stops, does it, ladies?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I just went blank. What the hell were we coming back with? We were just going to start something.
Well, yeah, we were going to talk about rallies and stuff, but we were something else before that.
See what happens when we talk during the break?
Yeah.
We forget where we left off. Because we just talked about 10 other subjects over that 4 minutes.
It's because our brains have been stimulated. Like there's neurons firing, right? Where it doesn't happen if you've got a drink in your hand.
You wind up stuck in the same spot.
Well,
right.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes.
All three of us. Oh my God, that's terrible. Usually one of us will remember.
Usually.
Okay,
Yes.
Talking about something with, was it Vapor Central? No,
it was something that was going to be a long conversation too, and I can't fucking remember what it was.
Well, we can go to bus trips to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, okay. Well,
there were so many events, right?
Correct.
There were so many events. Oh my God! Yeah. And we touched a lot on some of the expos and stuff that were out there. Of course, TY was a big one. That was the main one for me. That's what drew me into the cannabis community that you guys already had established. I was a long-standing participant in the shadows in my own little world, but I didn't know this entire community existed until TY.
It was like, holy fuck, where'd this all come from?
Yeah, and it's like,
where
who
you
are
been
these
all
people?
my life?
I found my people.
That's I used to still have the containers that the first TY samples were in.
Yeah, I've got one too.
The glass jars? The glass jars?
No, I had the paper ones. They look like...
Oh, I got the glass one.
Yeah,
oh,
they
it was
like,
paper.
Yeah, I
yeah,
got
they
lots
were
of the glass
discs.
ones.
They were discs.
They look like
paper discs, and they had
ornament.
A dome, like a dome. Was it a dome on them?
Yeah. And it looked like they could hang on a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So, they were really, I think he never made any money off them because he spent too much money on the packaging.
Yeah.
You think about it. Like Sarah Sunday.
It was a learning curve back then. Yeah. Nobody knew what the hell they were doing.
It was an eye-opener for a lot of people.
Well, that Karma Cup is a result of a challenge from Marco Renda to Sarah Sunday.
Oh, yeah?
He said, well, if you think you can do it, then do it.
And she
did.
She
did it, and she did it better.
And she did, and it's still going.
Now, during the break, we were talking about the early days of the 420 rallies down in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And one of the largest ones, early on ones that I was attending, was when 4 buses appeared and piles of people got off of them, and you were there.
Yeah. I have pictures. I was carrying a gnome.
Yes.
I do believe I had a garden gnome.
And I went down there. First time I was down there, for the cops, to stand beside us, make sure that nobody got in the way, no one got hurt, we're all safe by the cars. I was going, wow. And then they stopped the whole road so we could make the left to go down Clifton Hill, eh? Yeah. And go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't. I was just
okay. I thought you were
hair out of my eyes.
Oh, okay. And and it was always
about the march.
Yeah, we got to walk down there. We went past all those amusement places, and the march usually got larger. More people joined in.
Yeah, they joined from the sideline.
They didn't know what was happening, and they see you walking by, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm in."
Yeah. I like you guys. You smell good.
I'm coming. Wait for me.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, those are those early years. We had more balls, Like the minute it legalized and they said you'd get a $2,000 fine. Well, in those days you could go to fucking jail.
Yeah.
And we still
went.
And we still smoked and blew smoke in their faces and did all of that. I remember smoking in an MP's office.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't care. We were pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were risking jail time. We were risking being arrested. And now it's like, you're going to touch my bank account? What's this? Oh, no, we can't have that.
You can't do that. No.
No, arrest me. That's fine. But that's my money.
Yeah. What blows, I must say that Planet Paradise remained true.
Yes.
They remained true. They did not fold. Okay. Yep. I'm so proud of him for carrying on, and he's going to open again too.
That's excellent.
He will reopen.
We need a place. I mean, they've taken everything.
I love Bingo. Do you remember Bingo?
Yeah. Oh, of course I remember bingo. Well, some of it anyway.
I was there.
So much.
That was an interesting night.
That was a good night.
Yeah.
What was that
Mark
noise?
Whittaker,
What was that
Dr.
noise?
Earl.
That's Kim's head.
Yeah, Dr. Earl extracts, 40 plus years of consuming, and I pulled a whitey. Thanks to his extracts. And they knocked me on my ass. And it was like, what's this now? What's happening here? I don't understand.
And the rest of us just keep on talking.
Yeah. Just sit down on the bench over here. I'll be all right in a minute.
Oh, my gosh. The people that we have seen go down, like, green out.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We've had chicken cluckers and dinner.
I just needed to put my head down on something cold for a minute.
Yeah. Just to get yourself back.
My head went down on that leather bench, man, and it was like, oh, this is so cold. Oh, that's so nice.
Feels good. I think I'll stay here for a minute. Nobody sees me.
I think I'm just going to hang out here for a few minutes. I'll be good.
Yeah.
And when I was sort of coming back to reality, I'm laying there and I'm awake now, and I'm thinking, oh shit. Because of course you're all there. I'm in public. And
There's
like
witnesses.
I'm thinking, okay, now how the hell do I
have
get
to kill
up?
you now.
Yeah, how do I get up and still with some dignity? How do I make the rise back to the living?
Drool on your face.
All I could think of do. Sticking my hand up in the air was my peace sign, right? So up my ear, straight up in the air, my hand went and a couple of peace signs there. Hey, how are ya? I'm back.
Now,
one thing about cannabis.
Well, and you know what? Shortly after that, you were right back up. Once you got calmed down.
On.
Correct.
I sat up and did another dab.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me another one of that. That was pretty good,
We have had so many great events, so many.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just remembering the other day the normal women's.
Yeah.
And pushing that stupid car.
The car. That was around for the Global Marijuana March.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna bring that up before we got done tonight. We was talking about the march. So.
The GMMs has transpired at the GMMs. We even had a wedding at the GMM.
Yes, we did.
That's right. That's true. It was always. Especially when they expanded, when they ended up with they had the vending going on, they had the music going, and they had the stages on, and
yes, the bands playing.
It was fantastic.
It really toned down, from what we used to have.
Yeah,
and all that is because there's no balls. Well, one thing that happened was taking Chris Goodwin out of the picture. When the story, not whatever, it doesn't really matter. But he was the main activist that drove Toronto.
Well, there's people that are idea people, right?
Yeah.
And if you're hosting events like the GMMs and the 420s, that's the kind of person you need leading the pack and doing the planning. You need an idea person, and there's many of them out there, and
the
GM.
He was the one that got. But he was the one that got the permits for 420 for Dundas.
Yeah, for Young and Dundas. But as far as the GMM, that was going on for years before.
It was his money that paid for the security, that paid for the rental of the place.
Young and
for
Dundas.
For the GMM, for GMM, it was Neve was supposed to be running that, but it usually got screwed up by there's too many
hands in the pot.
And then, he kind of dropped the ball because he didn't get a permit, and the police got involved.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter got caught in that first GMM that I remember. A friend of hers was arrested because he had weed on him.
Oh, that's never good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I was there. I was there for the first GMM. I think it was the first one in the first 2 years, and it was year 2 and 3 that I went. I heard about it after the fact from year 1, and I thought, I've got to make sure I attend that. And it was year 2 and 3 that I went, and I took my oldest girl with me, and she was, I think she was like 16 or 17, and I thought, well, you're old enough to march with me. You're coming with me. And she came with me, and the two of us marched. And that was, like, I think my first experience with a large protest.
Yeah. Well, I think I went after that first one. I think I was at every other one. I can't march around anymore, but
the last one I did, the last GMMs I did, that was the one that was the deciding factor that I would never be marching in another one. That's a younger person's game now. I was so hurting by the end of that one.
Yeah. Billy Palmer used to lead it always. He was right up the front, so he should be, because it was he was the first of that the 10. He's a Section 56.
Yeah, it would have been one of the first ones to get their MMARs and stuff. Yes.
Correct. And Hash Mob was involved in all of that too, right?
Well, I was part of the Hash Mob.
Hash Mob, that was Matt Myrna, right?
That was Chris Goodwin. And
Chris Goodwin and
Matt Myrna was Myrna was the face that Chris Goodwin put up there.
Yeah.
But it was Chris Goodwin who was orchestrating everything, okay? He gave Matt Myrna his show at Vapor Central.
Vapor Central,
yeah. Well, that was all over TV
Myrna,
through Cannabis.
It was the Myrna Wana show. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was on Matt's shows several dozen times. I was part of Matt's show a lot. So
and the trades, the weed trade. That he used to do and all that stuff.
Bud swap.
A lot of that was Goodwin and Aaron.
A lot of people don't realize, right? I mean, and that's what you need in this kind of thing.
You need doers. I'm a great idea person, but I don't know how to initiate the do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas Chris knew how to get done what he had to do, because he was down in Hamilton and he fought to keep his little place open.
Up in smoke.
Yeah,
you remember that place?
Yeah, well, that's when they opened up Vapor Central. They brought it to Toronto.
It was a process. I was involved in that process.
Yeah. Chris and I talked about that at length during our interview that we had with the Goodwins on Pace. Yeah, and when he brought it started off in Hamilton and then he brought it to Toronto and all of that. Vapor Central and the Goodwins have been a pivotal part in a lot of it.
Definitely.
That's for sure. There's no question about it. And great ideas coming out of that front.
Happened.
Yeah,
that's where all the activism happened.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, Naomi. I mean, the activism is the people, right? The good ones put stuff together, but the thousands upon thousands of people showing up are the activists.
They were the ones that organized the people.
Yeah,
okay?
Well,
they were the ones that organized that walk down.
They just so you know, the global marijuana the first year of the global marijuana march was 1998.
Yeah.
In Toronto, because 20th anniversary was in 2018.
Yeah, and I went in
1998. So just to give you an idea.
Yeah, I went in 99 and 2000. That's when I went with Alicia. That makes sense, absolutely. But there's been so many events besides the GMMs and the 420s and all the pop-up events and the comedy shows and the Green Market
burlesque shows
that happened.
The burlesque shows that were going on.
Burlesque shows.
It just seemed like it was just nonstop. With all the lounges were going, and every place was doing entertainment was going on. It was great.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
I love everybody came up with a market idea. All of the different regions had different markets going on where all the vendors could get together. I mean, before that, the only time we seen that was at places like Karma, where everybody would get together. So the market idea was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh,
people can get together.
It's still happening, you know.
Quietly. A lot of things just went back into the shadows, right?
But I just don't understand people's psyche. Like, you're worried about $1,000 fine. You can put a GoFundMe up that'll get you $450,000 for not wearing a fucking mask. You know?
Yeah.
It just blows me away that people think that they're going to be alone. Like Joey, if you trusted people in the room, she'd let you smoke, after hours, because they'd been in a couple of times. Right. So what? I'm medical. I should be allowed to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to be suffering to watch a comedy show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not as funny when you're suffering, is it?
Well, you really have to present to keep the medical. It's going to be damn hard. I'm not one of those people that are registered with what are they called? Those designated growers or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And I do not have one of those cards. I have a prescription from my doctor.
Yeah, that's what we all have. Yeah, that's what we all have.
I did not send in to be part of the LP situation, nothing like that. Yep. And when I went to the airport with that 2.5 pounds of weed, that prescription trumped the card from the government.
Yeah, the government doesn't give cards no more. So,
Yep.
I mean, there's some LPs that when you register with them, they're still handing out it's like a company card. Some of them are plastic, some of them are paper, but none of them are like a legal document.
You're legal.
Yeah, none of them are a legal document. None of them can be used. Some cops will accept it because they don't know better. But when push comes to shove, and the way the law is written, those cards are as useful as a library card. They're not a legal document to prove that you're a patient. That's what your prescription does.
Yeah. So, but I had to also use a lawyer's name, and they kind of changed their whole attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring in the lawyers.
I was given back my weed. They booked me on the flight the next day, and they missed the asset in my wallet and the mushrooms that were under the clothes.
Sounds like Naomi needs to be a guest on Open Your Eye.
Naomi declares the weed, but she neglects to declare the acid and the mushrooms, and they missed it.
I totally forgot. I had put the mushrooms in my carry-on. I don't know where my brain was. I think my problem was I'd had stuff stolen out of my luggage before riding on this certain airline. So I didn't have proper locks. So I thought, well, I'll carry on. They can't touch that.
Oh, yes, they can. Seen them, you see on those shows on TV.
Yeah.
They'll open up luggage and take out peanut butter and Who knows what
everything.
else?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched that show, Border Security.
Yeah, correct.
We're sending our dog Lucy to Border Security.
Oh,
she
yeah?
finds if there's cannabis left anywhere in the form of a candy, she will find it and devour it.
That's
and
like
come
my
up.
Sonny.
Oh my God, she is just unreal. And then I was, why are you so bouncy today? And then I take her out and play with her, and she can't stand, like she's peeing on herself. And her accent is going all weird. And oh my God, what did you get into?
Yeah, got into something. You found something.
Yeah. And to this morning, Chelsea's furious. Who the hell garbage did Lucy get? She ate candy wrappers that were probably from cannabis.
Yeah. Stoned again. Stoned again. Sounds like my Sonny.
She got into Janine's stash.
Oh God.
Oh my God. She's like, and then if she's not high enough, she comes over and asks me to give her a puff. And I'm not kidding you. She actually does.
Yeah.
She wants it blown in her face. So we've got our CMP. We're training their dogs.
That's hilarious.
The cat's going to be trained pretty soon, too.
They're still standing on the 4 paws on their legs and moving around, obviously, by the sounds of it. Yeah.
Well, when they come out.
Yeah, that's.
You heard about Ludo, didn't you?
Who?
Ludo ate 7 grams of mushrooms.
Oh my God.
The dog we had
I wouldn't
before.
want to do that. I wouldn't want to see that for that poor dog.
I think, Ludo, I think, saw color.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so. Yeah.
You gotta be careful with that kind of
stuff.
What happened?
How
we came back from. Well, Ludo was another dog that he ate a whole pecan pie, one of Joey's medicated pecan pies. Also ate a whole pan of medicated brownies, the whole pan.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So we got home from harvest, and we just dropped the bags on the floor and went to bed. And these things were at the very bottom of this bag that had all kinds of other stuff on top of it. And Ludo went right to the bottom of that bag and got.
Yeah, you can't leave nothing like that out in access to a dog, man. You got to put that shit away.
He survived. He was good.
Oh yeah, they survived.
Barked, hit himself, just like humans, you know.
Yeah, they survived. But what a trip it was.
Yeah. Next time you smell that stuff,
that's when Bongman was living here, and he spent the night nursing the dog.
Yeah. Somebody would have to, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because they don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
They
just know they feel really shitty. Now Lucy, she loves it.
Yeah.
She loves it, obviously.
Yeah, there's some of them that are kind of hounds that they gravitate towards, and I have one of them myself. Sonny is that way. And, you can't leave nothing out or they're going to get it for sure.
He doesn't go for the green stuff. It's only the baked stuff.
Yeah. Sonny likes dabs. Sonny likes dabs. He eats roaches. He eats everything. I can't leave a roach in the ashtray. You wake up in the morning and it's gone.
No, that happens here, but it's not.
So your dogs have built up a tolerance, because we do see quite a few reports of people and about the dogs finding roaches or joints while they're out for a walk. And so obviously your dogs have built up a tolerance.
Oh yeah, mine look for
definitely.
it. We call them Scooby snacks. Sonny's looking for the Scooby snack. Like he just fucking loves the shit. It's crazy.
Lucy eats cat poop.
Oh goodness! No, don't let her do that. Don't let her do that. Let's change the subject back.
Yeah.
We have a new litter now, so she can't.
That's good. That's good. That's
I don't
good.
know why. They love cat shit.
Oh, that's all I'm talking about. Oh, God. No, let's not talk about that.
Let's not get into some Cheech and Chong stories here. Come on.
Have you got any good black lately? Have you heard of any good hash?
Yeah, we have a household that loves hash. I've always got hash. Always got hash. Really.
I'm so friggin' particular about my hash. I like Lebanese or Moroccan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big Afghani fan, but...
Yeah.
Well, I remember the last time that we went to the Indigenous Cup there, Kim. We covered that. And they had nice big chunks of different Moroccan hashes and stuff on the table.
I bought a quarter of Red Leb. I bought a quarter of Moroccan. We bought a half ounce of black. We bought a lot of hash that day.
So, like, it all comes from Montreal, right?
Yeah.
And
my
I know...
personal favorite is Red Leb. I love Red Leb.
I know... I really should make a trip to Montreal. I need somebody to drive me. I've got a place to stay and everything. And get a hold of Chris and deal with the dealer directly, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Remember the guy at the Karma Cup that had all the weed under the domes?
Yeah, that was Smoke Signals.
Yeah, well, he actually is from Montreal.
Yeah.
It might not. It was Smoke Signals is where he sends his hash into, but he himself is from Montreal.
Yeah. No, it's Smoke Signals, not the dispensary. Smoke Signals in Tyendinaga. Smoke Signals is at least it used to be his website where he sold his hash out of Montreal. It was also called Smoke Signals.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, two different companies, two different names, same name, but it was two completely different.
It was always nice chunks, anyways, man. Yeah. That's not. I hadn't seen that in years.
Apparently,
he's got great hash.
Yeah, because I know people looking for.
He has
Moroccan,
online sales, Naomi.
What's that?
He has an online site.
It's not for me. It's not for me. It's for somebody else.
Yeah,
I'll have to tell her.
Site.
Yeah. You can do that in PMs or something.
Yeah.
My problem is
not a radio show.
Smell it. I have to smell it to make sure it's what it is.
Yeah.
Because there's no Canadian hash just does not smell anything.
Yeah.
Like Moroccan hash. So.
Some good old Moroccan hash.
So
and actually, Morocco, just so you know, Naomi, Morocco has legalized medical cannabis.
Yeah.
And they're gonna. Yes, they did. They
I was there when it was illegal.
Yeah, they just did it. It's not enacted yet. It's on the table now, so it's coming.
Yeah. Recreational is not on the table, but just the medical end of it is. But, it all starts somewhere, right?
Hash is it's endemic in their culture, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody, like when I was there, and I was in Epawera, in the market and any of the little coffee shops or any of the tea places, everybody had hookahs. And the hash was in the hookah. And you'd sit and drink mint tea, and there's a whole procedure and they had chunks. Their sugar isn't like our sugar. Their sugar is in chunks.
Yeah.
Like the big chunks of crystal. And they'd pour the hot tea and pour it from way up above over these crystals. And then you drink, they pour about 3 times before you get to drink. And it's quite and then you're smoking the hash from, it was recreational. It's just everywhere. It's nothing,
Yeah, it sounds like quite the experience. Yeah. Well, ladies.
So it was
go ahead, finish what you're saying. We've actually gone beyond the end.
Yeah.
We're and I know
over already. already.
I know that we could probably go on for another half hour or an hour.
Yeah.
Easy, yeah, for sure, easy. Well, I mean, we barely scratched the surface of what's going on, but I mean, it's always great catching up with Naomi. She's seen so much in the evolution in Toronto, what's gone on with the cannabis scene, and it was great catching up with you. We'll have to have you back for another catch-up session.
Yeah, that'd be good. Now that I know what it's all about, it's not as nerve-wracking as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's just
like when I come to visit and we're sitting in the yard having a toke and a chat.
Conversation.
Well, when I've been on Mike Reeder's podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I had to travel to go to the place and the whole. Actually, he came and picked me up in that car that he bought for his dad. Ooh, that was nice. That was at the beginning of the lockdown last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've been on Joey's show, and that was a technical nightmare for me. So.
Oh, yeah. No, everything went smooth tonight.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and you know, we're doing it on radio. You can be in your pajamas and do it, right?
That's right. True. I'm sitting on my bed.
There you go. You know, we've had guests that are driving down the road and somebody else is holding their phone.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not? Right? Why not?
And everything else. Yeah, for sure. We had Tracy Curley was on, and she was having a medical procedure while getting her interview.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I was. Did you watch the Shane King broadcast?
No, I missed it. No, I wasn't able to watch
Tracy
it.
Curley appears in that. She stands up to go get something.
Nice.
So it's kind of neat to see her. Like I saw a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a while, like Manny.
Yeah.
Do you remember Manny Cotta?
Yes. Yes. That. Oh wow.
He wasn't on stage, but because of the camera people were getting up and going and doing things and going to the bar. So you'd see them get up and go, and then, oh, look at theirs. Oh. So, and then, of course, I was on stage demonstrating how to do nitrous balloons.
Nitrous balloons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Shane, we brought him to Harvest.
Did you?
Kim, Shane King. You know, you heard about Harvest Festival, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'd heard about it through these friends of mine who were Irish. They talked about this really strange house that it had been on Strange Houses of the World.
Mm-hmm.
And it had these big heads. And so I heard about it. So I was with Gary Veal at the time. And we drove up to see this place. And there was a gate open. And we drove in. And we're up on this hill. And there were all these naked men building a barge and putting it together. And Gary wouldn't even look at them. Meanwhile, naked men to me is just like another day, right?
Right. As a nurse, for sure. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm talking to them, asking what the hell's going on, what is this? And they told me, well, we have a big festival that's next week. And I said, well, how much is it? And it was $85 at the time. So I bought 2 tickets. And I had Josh come with me, Josh Helston.
Oh, yes.
You know, Sarah's partner?
Yeah.
I brought him with me, and then we got to this festival. We found Kim with another friend of hers, and and that was the first year. And we had such a good time. Like, I woke up with snow on my tent.
That sounds like a great time.
Well, it's just outside Berks Falls. It's just it's near Doe Lake Park. It's near Doe Lake.
And they used to have it.
Yeah, it's a fabulous spot. Peter Khomeini is a school teacher.
Yes.
He's a high school art teacher.
teacher,
And that
yeah.
entire place was built mostly by his students. And he used his property to give his students art projects, to rate them and give them grades in school. And meanwhile, they were building a festival grounds for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it
wow.
was
Oh,
it was
really?
David Thomas and those guys that they had this festival somewhere else, and they brought it to Peter's place.
Yeah.
But in the early days, there weren't that many people. Like there was on Friday night, they had an acoustic band up by the big fires, and got to meet the band. Like I just meet people. Anyways, they were from Oshawa, and everybody knew their songs, and we'd all sang along, and it was so much fun. And when we got back to the city, it's like you've had an epiphany. You've reconnected with the earth, and you've been on all these drugs. So the enthusiasm that we talked about this festival, that's Shane said, look, if these two old ladies can go up there and have a great time, like Kim and I, then I'm going. So he came the next year, and his life changed.
Yeah.
He brought his kids, brought his family, everybody. Yeah. It's just, to me, the land is magical. It is, magical.
And that's why I moved to the country, Naomi. That's why I got out of Toronto and I moved up north. We first were still in the city when we were camping at Doe Lake Park, when we were spending weekends and all summer long there. And I knew Peter back then, before he was still a school teacher when I knew him. And then when he had that property was highlighted on Weird Homes, the barn doors blew open for him because the possibilities became endless. Harvest Fest wound up going there, and everything has been its history since then, right? I mean, it just exploded.
You know what is funny is that Butterfly, who has a cottage, they've had their family cottage like a mile up the road for how many years, and she did not know about this festival until I introduced her to her.
Whoa, really? Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Well, it just goes to show that the festival must not have been disruptive.
Not at all.
For the neighborhood.
Not at all. And it's in the middle of the country. It's really, really a great setting, just outside Berks Falls, Ontario, northern Ontario, just about 2 hours south of North Bay.
3.5 hours from Toronto.
Yeah.
And it's on Midlothian Ridge is the name of the road that goes by.
Yeah.
But it's changed a lot. Like I had stopped, that bread kind of canceled the season for me.
Yeah.
And I broke my arm the next year.
Yeah, so I haven't been for a couple of years.
I have tickets for this year.
That's good. If it happens, fingers crossed that these things will be able to happen again this year. But we'll definitely have to have you back again, Naomi, and catch up more again. I mean, so much to cover,
come down
right?
for 420, okay?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Make a plan to come down, okay?
I'm going to try.
Because it should be a good time. And you can always, if it's miserable, you can always come to my place. Okay?
Deal.
There you go. All right, Naomi, before we sign off for the night, I have a question for you.
Yes.
It's shout-out time. So this is an opportunity for you to give a shout-out, person, place, a thing, a website, anything that you'd like to do that with.
Well, there's Puff Mama, of course. You guys support her. She's selling some of her really, really unique items. She's also baking cookies and doing her best. She has a podcast on Thursday night that you guys should tune into. Also, Linda Toy. She's another great baker. There's my daughter Chelsea, who also makes the bugs and bolts that are quite tasty and can be quite potent. So, yeah, that's about it, I think. I'm trying to think of who else.
The potency, is that from experience? Like you?
What's that?
I said the potency, that's from experience. You've experienced her nuts and bolts, and you know that they knock you out.
Yes, I gave her the recipe.
Way to go, Mom.
Yeah, my life has introduced me to every station in this world, from
So did you want
the 2% to the bottom, you know?
Yeah. Have you got any more?
Keep them all the same.
Any more shout-outs there you want to add to that?
Let me think. Well, my niece has an equestrian breeding stable outside of Barrie.
Nice.
Let me think. What else? Does it have to be cannabis?
We'll leave it at that for this time. You can make a list for next time.
Okay, I'll get people to contact me. What do you want me to shout out about?
There you go. Exactly. All right. All right. Over to Kim now. It's Kim's turn. Shout out time for Kim.
My shout out tonight goes to my group, IWK, Cannabis Information with Northern Ontario, Kim. Tonight we celebrated our 1-year anniversary doing the 710 daily sesh. Yep, 365 days of seshing online since this new reality of ours set in, that I was thinking was going to last about 30 days. Here we are 12 months later, and we're still doing the 710 daily sesh. So really happy that it worked out the way it has. It's been a huge success. I could not have done it on my own. There's not just physically not possible. So huge shout out to my right and left hands, which are Michelle Sikora and Doug Sikora, her spouse, as well as Miss Cindy Howell. These three people have been pivotal with joining me and getting this off the ground and creating what has become the nightly entertainment for many people across the nation and beyond. Craig McEachern, Queen Irene Canatok, Glenn Wells, Kevin Reed, Daniel Duvall, Luke Hatches, Ginger Chase, Jay and Deb Olver-Jobin, Danica Dunseith, Tracy Lamery, Tamara Cartwright, and all the other subs and guests that have joined us have made this simply fabulous. I can't thank you enough, and I look forward to the next year on the Daily Sesh.
It's amazing, how just an idea can explode like that.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. It was lockdown, and it's like, hey, maybe we should get together and have a Coke for, once a day or something. How does everybody feel about that? It was just an idea, and it went like kaboom.
That's right. That's right. And
I can't keep time, so I couldn't be part of
that. All right, my turn. I don't usually do shout-outs, but mine's going to be to you, Kim, because of what you've done, throughout time for here. But recently, you've gone and learned something, and you've made the network expand, and that was learning StreamYard. And because you decided to take that up, others have done that as well. And look what you've done with the IWK, and now that influence has come over to here. And now we're starting with the Reefer Reporters, and you started with Open Your Eye as being a live video show, which gets podcasted afterwards on Spreaker, so it's still available to our listeners on this end of things. But you've helped us jump that leap into video, and tomorrow Reefer Reporters will be done video on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm looking at starting on Monday with it. So my hat's off to you.
That's great.
Oh, thank you, Al.
Cindy Howell?
Yeah, Cindy Howell is
amazing.
With me. Yeah, she's awesome. I love her. Her and I make a great team on Reefer Reporters. She's a gem to work with. She's been pivotal in IWK as well, and having her join us at Pace Radio Network has just been amazing. It's been a really great ride for 2021.
Cindy and Denise McKenzie introduced me to the cannabis world in Nova Scotia when I was down there.
Right on.
I'm grateful for them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
And I introduced them to somebody special too, which is Shelley Marshall in my pharmacy.
Nice.
You guys, you heard about that place?
Yeah, we'll talk about it next
friendly.
time, Mohan.
All right.
We can't start again, Naomi.
Yeah, shut me up quick.
All right. Let's see.
Use my right.
Next week, I will be back. The Pace Radio Show will be back with Julie and her special guest. You can find the Pace Radio Network on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can find us online, paceradio.net, as well as pace-online.ca. Thank yous go to our sponsors, the friendly folks at BMA Hydroponics, as well from the friendly and helpful folks at legacy420.com, the Camelford Lifestyle Shop in downtown Camelford, drbuckcts.com. I'm sure he's just itching to make an announcement, but we'll hold back on that. Plus, a big thank you, as always, to our guest, longtime cannabis advocate, Naomi Poley. Thank you, Naomi, for appearing on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Kim, you were going to say Dr. Buck and its expansions. It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. There's some big news coming, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I got a patient who's really happy, just so you know.
Yeah.
All right. As always, as I mentioned, Kim, thank you to you too for everything you do and for what you do with No Sore and IWK and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
You got a list.
I got a list now.
That's right. All right, and as always, thank you to our listeners for tuning in the program. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you. All right. Night, guys.
Good night.
Night.
You know I blame it on industry.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Do you want to hear what patients and cannabis advocates have to say? If so, then catch the Pace Radio Show Wednesday nights here on paceradio.net.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.